Erasure is an English synthpop duo, consisting of singer and songwriter Andy Bell and songwriter and keyboardist Vince Clarke. They formed in London, and entered the music scene in 1985 with their debut single, Who Needs Love Like That. Following the release of their fourth single Sometimes, the duo established itself on the UK singles chart and became one of the most successful artists of the late 1980s to mid-1990s. From 1986 to 2007, Erasure achieved 24 consecutive top 40 hits in the UK, while having 3 top 20 hits in the US, A Little Respect, Chains of Love, and Always. By 2009, 34 of their 45 singles and EPs had made the UK top 40, with 17 climbing into the top 10. In 1989, Erasure won the Brit Awards for the Best British Group category and was nominated several times the following years. The duo is most popular in its native UK and mainland Europe and also in South America. To date, Erasure has sold over 25 million albums worldwide. The band is also popular within the LGBT community, for whom the openly gay singer Andy Bell has become a gay icon. History: Vince Clarke was a founding member of Depeche Mode and sole writer of their first 3 singles. After leaving the band in late 1981, Clarke forged an equally notable career with the duo Yazoo. After 2 hit albums in as many years, he split with Yazoo partner Alison Moyet and formed the short-lived project The Assembly with producer Eric Radcliffe. The project spawned a UK number 4 hit single, Never Never, featuring Fegal Sharkey on vocals. Clarke then released another single with vocalist Paul Quinn, One Day. It flopped, leading Clarke to place an advertisement in Melody Maker looking for a vocalist for a new musical project. He selected Peterborough-born Andy Bell. Beginnings and international success, 1985–1994. Erasure's first 3 singles were commercial failures in the UK, although the third, O Lama, charted well in Australia and a few European countries. Their debut album, Wonderland, was mostly recorded in 1985 and released in June 1986. Although it only made the UK top 75, it made a sizable impact in Germany, making the top 20. It was with the release of their 4th single, Sometimes, that Erasure finally received recognition in the UK in late 1986. The song peaked at number 2 in the UK and Germany and spent many weeks in the UK top 40, marking the beginning of a long string of major hits for the duo. The single's parent album, The Circus, was released in March 1987 and reached number 6 and turned platinum in the UK with 3 additional hit singles, It Doesn't Have to Be, Victim of Love, and The Circus. The album remained on the charts for over a year. Erasure's third album, The Innocents, was released in April 1988. Preceded by the top 10 single Ship of Fools, the album hit number 1 in the UK on its initial release and returned to the summit a year later, eventually going triple platinum. It also turned platinum in the US, generating 2 top 20 hits in Chains of Love, and A Little Respect. The Innocents was the first of 5 consecutive number 1 albums for Erasure in the UK, including the Greatest Hits compilation Pop. The first 20 hits. In November 1988, the Crackers International EP, led by the song Stop, hit number 2 in the UK singles chart. The albums Wild and Chorus both contained 4 top 20 singles and were major sellers. Crackers International was bettered in 1992 by another EP, ABBA-esque, covering 4 ABBA hits, which became Erasure's first number 1 in the UK singles chart. It featured a video of the duo dressed in ABBA outfits, and was one of the principal drivers of the ABBA revival scene in the 1990s. Also in 1990, Erasure contributed the song Too Damn Hot to the Cole Porter tribute album Red Hot Plus Blue produced by the Red Hot organization. In 1992, a singles compilation, Pop. The first 20 hits, also hit number 1 and went triple platinum, featuring all the band's singles released from 1985 to 1992. In 1994, Erasure released I Say I Say I Say, their 5th consecutive number 1 in the UK albums chart. Its first single, Always, became the band's 3rd top 20 hit in the United States, next its second single, Run to the Sun was released in July and became their final UK top 10 hit until 2003. Its third and final single, I Love Saturday, was released in November. Releases 1995 Euro 2007, the October 1995 release of the album Erasure marked a determined shift away from Erasure's signature 3-minute synthpop to a more introspective and experimental sound. Nevertheless, it made the UK Top 15 and spawned 2 UK Top 20 singles, Stay With Me, and Fingers and Thumbs. A remixed version of Rock Me Gently was released only in Germany as third single. In spite of a return to 3-minute pop songs, the 1997 album Cowboy did not restore the success of their 1986 Euro 1994 era. Cowboy enjoyed a short-lived success, peaking at number 10 in the UK but lasting only 2 weeks in the UK Top 40. In the US Billboard charts though, it was one of their most successful records. The first single In My Arms reached number 13 in the UK and entered the top 2 in the US dance chart. The second single Don't Say Your Love Is Killing Me made number 23 in the UK. The third single Rain was also only released in Germany and Czech Republic. In October 2000, Erasure released their 9th studio album Love Boat, co-produced with Flood, though only peaking at a lowly number 45. The first single was Freedom, which made a brief entry into the UK Top 30. In 2001 they released a limited EP Moon in the Sky contained new versions of the title song, a cover of the song Baby Love, and some acoustic versions of Love Boat songs. The 2003 release Other People's Songs was a collection of cover versions. Its first single, a cover of Peter Gabriel's song Salisbury Hill, reached a UK Top 10. The second single from the album was a cover of Steve Harley's Make Me Smile it made number 14 in the UK and Erasure were invited to perform on Top of the Pops for the first time since March 1997. In 2003 a new best of compilation was released, called Hits. The Very Best of Erasure. Included was a new version of the 1986 song O Lama originally a commercial flop in the UK, this new version charted in the top 15. Erasure's 2005 album Nightbird's first single, Breathe, reached number 4 in the UK charts and achieved the number 1 position on the US dance chart, 18 years after their first chart topper. The next single, Don't Say You Love Me, which made the UK Top 15, enabled purchasers to configure their own remixes of the single through the band's website, with each variant of the song limited to a single download. The third single was a double A-side, features new versions of Here I Go Impossible Again / All This Time Still Falling Out of Love. Union Street was a 2006 side project which featured a collection of previously released album tracks that the band reinterpreted in an acoustic country and western style. The album was named after the recording studio in Brooklyn where it was recorded. The duo then released a more dance-oriented album than some of their more recent work. Titled Light at the End of the World, the album was produced by Gareth Jones and was released on May 21, 2007 in the UK, and in North America the following day. The album was preceded by its first single I Could Fall in Love with You, which peaked at 21 the UK chart. A second single, Sunday Girl, was released in June and made number 33 in the UK. The Storm Chaser EP included an exclusive B-side Early Bird, a duet with Cyndi Lauper. Releases 2009 Euro present. Total Pop. The First 40 Hits, a collection of Erasure's first 40 hits plus a new remix of Always by Jeremy Wheatley, was released on February 23, 2009. The compilation fractionally missed the UK Top 20, reaching number 21. On August 10, 2009, Erasure released a 6-track EP of classic remixes entitled Erasure Club. To celebrate 21 years since its release, the album The Innocents was remastered and re-released on October 26, 2009. In May 2009 came the news that the band are back working on a new Erasure album. Andy Bell released his second studio album, Non-Stop, on June 7, 2010. In February and March 2010, the song Always enjoyed an unexpected peak of popularity among Flash game players for its prominent role as the soundtrack of the Adult Swim game Robot Unicorn Attack. Vince Clarke has stated in radio interviews that the band want to complete the concept album of nursery rhymes that they have been working on for some time. However, Erasure for the past 2 years have been writing and preparing work on their next album of original material, and have finally announced that they will be beginning recording and production in December 2010. On December 16, 2010, Erasure's official website announced a new studio album planned for release in summer 2011 to be produced by Frank Music. Also, a world tour was announced with current dates including stops in Europe and South America. Erasure played a 27-date US and Canada tour, as well as at Estadio Monumental in Lima, Peru on August 18. The Tomorrow's World Tour began on August 31, 2011 in Tampa, continuing through September, and finished in Seattle on October 6, 2011. The UK and European leg of the Tomorrow's World Tour began on October 12, 2011 in Leicester, UK, continuing through to November 14, 2011 in Dresden, Germany. On June 20, 2011, it was confirmed via their official website that their most recent studio album is called Tomorrow's World. This album was released on October 3, 2011. The first single from the album was, When I Start To. The album reached number 29 in the UK, number 35 in Germany and number 61 in the US. The second single from Tomorrow's World was Be With You, which peaked in the top 10 on the US Hot Dance Club Songs, making it their highest peak since Breathe in 2005. The third and final single from the album was Fill Us With Fire, which was released March 12, 2012. Erasure also toured internationally in 2011. It was one of their longest tours and included visits to some places for the first time, including Russia and Ukraine. They also did a whole South American tour, including 2 shows in Buenos Aires, where they last performed in 1997 during the Cowboy Tour. On November 11, 2013, Erasure released their first holiday album, Snow Globe. The first single from the album was a cover of the 1973 Steeleye band track Gored It, which is available as a digital download since the 28th October, in advance of the single's full release as a CD and download bundle on December 9. The track was available in the US on October 29. On May 27, 2014, Erasure announced their 16th studio album for a September 22, 2014 release, a 10-track record titled The Violet Flame. Released on September 22, 2014 and produced by Richard X, it entered the UK albums chart at number 20, giving the duo their first top 20 albums since Other People's Songs in 2003. Discography. Studio albums, Wonderland, The Circus, The Innocents, Wild. Chorus, I Say I Say I Say, Erasure, Cowboy, Love Boat, Other People's Songs, Nightbird, Union Street, Light at the End of the World, Tomorrow's World, Snow Globe, The Violet Flame. References. External links, Official Erasure website, Erasure YouTube, Erasure SoundCloud.